Hello, everyone. I'm Anne Claire Levy with the March for Life, and today I'm joined by my dear friends, Karen Brabbit, the Director of Programming at Support After Abortion, Amy Ford, the founder and president of Embrace Grace, and Jessica Russo, the Donor Relationship Manager at Embrace Grace. Welcome, ladies.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey. Hi.
So, as everyone might remember, Support After Abortion joined us earlier this month for a great interview. But for those of you who don't remember, they're just an amazing ministry that is caring for women and men who have been impacted by abortion and really providing a great ministry in the pro-life movement. And Embrace Grace is another beautiful ministry in the pro-life movement, providing support and care for single women facing unexpected pregnancies. So I'm going to toss it over to you guys now to talk a little bit more about your organizations. So Karen, for those of our viewers who are hearing about support after abortion for the very first time, could you share with them a little bit more about what your ministry is all about and why it's so important in building a culture of life?
Yeah, thank you, Anne. It's such an honor to be here today. So we're a really new company. We started in 2017, and how we came into existence is we learned of a statistic that of the nearly 1 million abortions that are performed in this country every year, 50% are performed on a woman that's already had one. And we thought, man, if we could connect with that woman before she made the decision to have a second abortion, we could literally reduce the abortion rate by 50% in this country. And so we said, yeah, we're all in, let's do this. And so how do we connect with these women and men and help them get fully restored and find that healing that they so desperately want? And so through the course of just research and stuff, we determined that healing and after abortion care is not the same for everyone. It's not a one size fits all. And so we developed a model that we call an options-based model, where we take into consideration the person's lifestyle, their schedule, and their faith. And so that's kind of not pretty much in a nutshell what we do. You mentioned the Facebook Live that we did with you on April 1st. That was the day that we became our own entity, our own nonprofit. And there was a whole lot of history of the company in that. So I encourage you to go back to that April 1st Facebook Live and take a look at it, and you can learn more about support after abortion.
Thank you. No, they're a great ministry and organization to look into. So really encourage all of our viewers today to head over to their website and check it out. Also, it has some great colors. I think we're all rocking today.
Yeah, you're sporting our colors.
And then Amy, could you share with us a little bit more about Embrace Grace?
Yeah, so Embrace Grace, we inspire and equip the church to love on single and pregnant young women and their families. So we have support groups within churches all over the nation that are using our curriculum and our tools to be able to minister directly to the girls. We want these young women that with unplanned pregnancies, we want the church to be one of the first places a girl runs to instead of the last because of shame and guilt. And we want them to get connected to a spiritual family, to be discipled, to be healed, to be set free, and just to really raise their kids in the church and to really change generations through the power of Jesus. So we are in over 700 churches, 47 states, and 10 countries. And we are just equipping them from our home base here in Dallas, Fort Worth area. And we're training them and giving them all the tools that they need. So it's really easy. Anybody can start a support group. We have digital curriculum. You just press play and great teachings. And then all the tools to be able to finish each class and lesson out. It's a 12-week semester, and to be able to love on the moms and to know how to walk alongside them through the season and even beyond.
Oh, that's fantastic. I've been loving seeing you guys' social media posts, especially during this time of social distancing and staying at home. It always puts a smile on my face seeing your little care packages and social distance baby showers that you guys have been hosting. It's just been beautiful.
We've done some pivots,
Karen,
for sure.
I know you have a personal connection with Support After Abortion's mission. Could you share a little bit about your own story and how you got involved with helping women and men who are struggling after abortion?
Yeah, I would. Growing up, I just was really insecure and never really established an identity for myself. And so what that looked like is I would say and do and be whatever it is that I thought you wanted me to be, just so it would appear as if I fit in. It was a really shallow existence, and I didn't really have a lot of friends, and I was totally insecure, but way too prideful to ever let anybody know that I was insecure. So I just exuded this confidence that was really fake and phony. And as a result of that, I started having sex at a really young age. I got pregnant in college and had an abortion, and really didn't think about it for many years after. I became promiscuous. The relationship ended. I became promiscuous. I got married. And it wasn't until we found out that we couldn't have kids that I even thought about the abortion that I had so many years previously. And it was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I mean, my dream of my life was not what it was at that moment. My dream was to have that white picket fence, be married, and have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I look back on the decision that I made in college, I wasn't a believer in Jesus at that time, and I wasn't pro-choice. I wasn't pro-life. I was really pro-me. It was a very selfish decision that I didn't give any thought to until the consequences started to surface, right? And
Mhm.
then beyond that, I mean, my life just fell apart. After that, I started drinking and became a drug addict. And when the money ran out, did criminal things. And it wasn't until I got into recovery, because I was facing some pretty serious consequences, that I said, I got to live a different life. And it wasn't until I was in recovery that I kind of sat up and thought, oh my gosh, this is not where I expected to be in my mid 40s. This is not the life that I had planned for myself. How did it go so wrong? And so met Jesus 20 years ago. Here I sit today. Really passionate about not just men and women that are impacted by abortion, but all of the unhealthy choices that we make and the roads that we take in life that just are not what we were created to be or do, right? And so my heart is for helping anybody that's hurting and struggling. God carried me through and helped me to overcome so many obstacles in my life. He gets all the glory, praise Jesus. And I just don't want to see anybody struggle for the decades like I did.
Mhm.
And so that's really where my heart is for hurting people. And so when I had the opportunity to come to Pregnancy Solutions, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know where that was going to lead. It's certainly not where I thought I was going to be. Doing a Facebook Live is like way outside my comfort zone. But this is where I sit, and I know this is exactly where God has placed me for such a time as this. We live in a wounded world, and if we can bring any kind of comfort and restoration and healing and hope to people, that's exactly where I want to be.
We're definitely blessed to have you in a place
Well,
like
thank you.
this.
For sure.
Thank you for sharing, Karen. And Jessica, you also have a short or story to share. I just wanted to know what brought you into a ministry like Embrace Grace.
Oh, wow. So the very short version of that is it's even crazy to now look back and say that I'm in ministry, like to get that honor to be able to do that. So I grew up in a Christian home, and I, similar to Karen, like really struggled with my identity. Like, who was I? What was my purpose? Did I have value? Where did that worth lie? And that's all in a relationship with God. But I just didn't understand what that was. And at 16, I became pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was going to single-handedly destroy my family. My family was very involved in the church, and I just bore that as like, I'm going to do the brave thing, and I'm going to get an abortion. Like, I thought I was doing something noble. And there was just these years of just toxic behavior, and it was just poison in my body. Unhealthy relationships, drugs, promiscuous relationships. I was just looking for anything to fill that void. And after my now husband and I got married, I was told that I would probably never have children. And that's when it like really hit me, because I bore that as like, God's punishing me. He's mad at me. And we were married a year, and we got pregnant, and then we got pregnant again. We have 4 kids now. We have a lot of kids. And like with each pregnancy, like God was trying to heal my heart. He was proving his love for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to know Embrace Grace and become involved in pro-life work when my oldest son was in preschool. We had him at a Christian preschool. I didn't think I was worthy of God's love, so we didn't go to church, but I wanted my kids to know God. Mm-hmm. And his teacher was talking about a baby shower at her church for single and pregnant women. Mm-hmm. And it was Embrace Grace before it was even a nonprofit. And the moment I heard about this, my heart just leapt because it gave me hope. Like I had that moment of, if that church believes that God can love those girls, maybe he can still love me. Mm-hmm. And that's what led me into seeking healing for my abortions. And then it was contagious. Like I could not stop loving on moms and leading an Embrace Grace group, and then working for Embrace Grace and getting to use my story for God's glory.
Mm-hmm. Oh, these are such beautiful stories. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
Oh, and I hope that you've been getting to spend some great time with your little kiddos during all of this.
Oh, we've had lots of time. We've been blessed with that.
That's fantastic. So Amy, one, I just want to say that during the March for Life Expo this past January, I absolutely loved coming to the Embrace Grace booth. It was so bright and colorful, and the girls that you had working there were just so sweet to talk with. They really had a heart for ministry. So I wanted to know if you could share a little bit about what Embrace Grace's mission is in the pro-life movement.
Yeah, so our niche, I guess, is to really engage the church and giving them a practical tool of what they can do. I hear a lot of churches say, oh, well, we give to a pregnancy center. And that's good. And we talk about how they are so needed in our communities and that they need to be supported for sure. And but I love Tony Evans. He's one of my favorite pastors. He says that the pregnancy centers are the first response team and the church is the hospital. And I just love that. And that us working together, the pregnancy centers and the churches, can really help save more lives, and we can make a bigger impact on these women that are in this deciding mode of what to do in this situation. So we get, by giving the churches the practical tools, this helps them be able to love on the moms in a more effective way. A lot of churches get a little bit weirded out about talking about pro-life because they feel like maybe it's a political thing, or they get even nervous about talking about pro-life when there are women in the pews that have experienced an abortion and they don't want to hurt anyone. I hear a lot of different things of why they're not sure how to talk about it. And we really love just talking about pro-love. I mean, we are pro-life, but pro-life is a stance, but pro-love is an action. And it's God's kindness that leads us to repentance. And it's his love that draws us to his side. So when we're loving on these women, whether they've experienced an abortion or they are in an unplanned pregnancy, that's where transformation happens and planting seeds of love. So Embrace Grace is just there to really inspire and equip the church to get involved, to start a support group at their church, we're empowering them to do abortion healing groups at their church. That's so needed as well, to help set these women and men free, because free people. And so if we can help set people free, then it's contagious. We'll have revival in our churches. When 1 in 4 women or men have experienced an abortion, and the abortion rate is exactly the same inside the church as it is outside. So a quarter of our church members, everyone sitting in our pews, have experienced an abortion, but no one's talking about it. So we are a gentle and grace-filled approach of let's do something and not just talk about, or even just vote, which is important too. But let's do something and be the hands and feet of Jesus for everyone involved.
It's really fantastic to hear. And Karen, I know in one of our past conversations this month, we were talking about the need in pro-life ministries to work together to provide a community of support for women, men, and their children. So how do ministries like Support After Abortion and Embrace Grace work together to build a culture of life?
That's such a great question. And, it's based in research. Research was conducted that stated that They asked the question, if you had had an abortion and wanted to go somewhere for help, would you know where to go? And
Mhm.
80% of the people responding said they had no idea where they would go. And 15 of the 20% remaining said they would go to Planned Parenthood. We should be horrified by that, right? People don't know we exist. They don't know where to go to get help. So collaboration in the eyes of support after abortion is one of the premier things that we want to accomplish. None of us can do it alone. We need to all link arms and do it together. And so, that really speaks to our mission as well, which is to influence the way the world provides abortion recovery to men and women impacted by abortion. And we want to do that by being innovative, educating people, and collaborating. So, collaboration is so important to us. And so,
Mhm.
piggybacking on this experience here, we're going to be starting our own Support After Abortion Healing Network, where we're going to be doing Facebook Lives every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And we're going to be having on the guest of my show. Can you believe it? The one that didn't want to be on Facebook Live to begin with is going to be hosting her own show. Oh my gosh. So you never know where God's going to take you, right? Exactly where you're supposed to be. So praise Jesus again. So every week we're going to be inviting leaders in after abortion healing and programming to come on and talk about what's working and what's not. The way we did things 25 years ago is not the way we could do it today. Obviously, we're all confined to our homes, so meeting in small groups is, at least for now, a thing of the past. So we really want to get the creative juices flowing and see how it is that we can reach those people, or how they can reach us, we'll know where to go to get help, and then just be available to serve them in a mighty way. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And Karen, while providing love and healing to women and men who are struggling from abortion is such an important side to building a culture of life, I feel like this is often one of the hardest topics to approach, especially to a friend or family member. Could you talk a little bit about how we can best show love to these women and men who might have abortion in their past?
Yeah, so we have just started to collaborate with Life Perspectives. That's the Abortion Changes You and Miscarriage Hurts
Mhm.
websites, if you're familiar with them. And one of my colleagues, Amy Vogel, I'm sorry, has just completed their training. She's going to be certified as a safe place coach, which is really all about language and creating a safe environment so the person that you're talking to trusts you or feels safe enough to be able to disclose to you those things that they've have spent a lifetime not saying to other people, right? Those secrets that they've been holding on to so strongly. And so it's really a lot about language that's used. And so we're really excited to collaborate with them, because we think that's a tool that we can take to pregnancy centers around the country. And so that their staff and their volunteers, when clients come in for a pregnancy test, they will create an environment where that person will be able to start that conversation, right? We have to start the conversation. And we have to do it in a loving way, meeting them right where they are. The other thing that we found on that very subject is that sometimes, and we know that abortion goes hand in hand with miscarriage, often goes hand in hand with um, sexual abuse as a child, that those things definitely occur in the same person multiple times. And so we have found that some people are more willing to talk to us about the sexual trauma that they endured as a child than tell us about their abortion. So we have some entry level virtual groups that we're starting just in the next couple of weeks, where people can come in and talk about those things that they're comfortable talking about now. And maybe that will be a gateway for them to then start to share about their abortion experience.
Mhm. No, thank you.
Mhm.
And Jessica, to kind of elaborate on all of this, people in the pro life movement often want to show love and support to women facing unexpected pregnancies. How do you start to show, or how do you start a loving conversation with a friend or family member in these types of situations?
I think a lot of times we overcomplicate it. She didn't become another person. Like, she didn't become an alien. She's still your friend. She's still your sister, your daughter, your cousin. Like, she's still who she was before you found out she was unexpectedly pregnant. So, like, rule one, just love her. Love her. Give her room to talk about her fears, because they're real. Fear is a powerful tool of the enemy. And our enemy wants to isolate us, to make us feel like we're dirty and we're broken and we can't share it. So when we come with open arms and say, I love you, like, how can I help you in this season?
Mm-hmm.
And just give her space to talk about her fears and her anxieties and what she sees as all these obstacles in her way. And then help her just lovingly see that fear is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And fear isn't forever, and that we can overcome the fear together. We can do this together. Get her connected with a pregnancy center in your area, a pro-life pregnancy center, so that she can get connected with community. Get her plugged into an Embrace Grace group. Get a love box in her hand. Love box is an incredible tool that Embrace Grace has, that we get to place in the hands of a woman that just found out that she's single and pregnant. And it's full of these beautiful life-affirming gifts that help her make that life choice and get her connected with a community, a spiritual family that can love her and encourage her in that season. I always try to talk to her about her. Sometimes it's hard for her to see like the pregnancy and that the baby is real. You know, there's all these things swirling in the head. So just helping see her, just see her.
Oh, that's just such a beautiful message of love. Thank you for that. And Amy, could you share with us a little bit about the Overcomer program that I know Embrace Grace does?
Oh, yeah. So it was just this crazy idea because we noticed that a lot of our Embrace Grace leaders have experienced an abortion in their past. It just sort of like the more and more we talk to them, not all, but a lot of them have. And they really want to be the person that they wish they had had in their life years ago when they made their abortion decision. And so they're getting the courage to go and start this group or help lead a group. And, Revelation 12:11 says, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So as we share our story, and just like what Karen was talking about, just really the first step is just getting them to share, even if it's one person, share their story, that starts the healing process. And so then, if you want to share it with a girl with an unplanned pregnancy, to say, listen, this is my story and I don't want this for you. I'm going to walk alongside you and I'm going to be here for you. So we started realizing, wow, these women that have experienced an abortion and have gone through a healing program would be amazing fit for leading an Embrace Grace group. Because they're passionate, they want to be the change. And so how do we market to them, and how can we connect with them to see if they want to continue their healing after they finish a program or mentorship or whatever that looks like, then to really walk some out, like being able to share their story even more consistently with the girls they're mentoring that are in the situation they were in years before. So we have like an Overcomer bracelet. We have a journal about writing your story out, and it's like it has writing prompts just about taking the first step and sharing, if it is just one person, if it's your husband or if it's your kid, or maybe it's on a blog, or maybe it's on a platform with thousands of people, whatever it is, like, how do you do that? But then it also is like, okay, now what's next? What does your healing process look like next? And so here are some amazing ways to serve in the pro-life movement. We're talking about getting involved in the pregnancy centers, finding an organization near you, looking online. We give them lots of ideas, but of course, Embrace Grace is like, hey, we want you to, here's one great idea. So we have this tool. We're really working through and working with support after abortion and surrendering the secret as well in the back of Pat Layton's newest book that released, I think it just got revamped. There's an ad in the back for a text code to get it that way. So we're working through like how to get it into the hands of these women that have just gone through a healing group, whether it's through a church or a pregnancy center or one-on-one mentorship. So we're brainstorming it all out, but we have them here at our offices. And so far, several groups have started just through Pat's text code on the back. And so it's amazing to see that they're wanting to continue their healing process and really get involved and be the change.
Love it. And I'm seeing in the comments right now that both Support After Abortion and Embrace Grace's social media managers are posting links to all of these great resources.
Okay.
So everyone needs to go check those out. And then, Karen, to kind of wrap things up, I've heard that Support After Abortion or actually you just mentioned earlier in our conversation that you guys have some really creative ideas for still providing personal support for women and men during this period of social distancing. You talked about it a little bit, but could you go into more detail about
Yeah.
these virtual programs that you'll be heading up?
Yeah, we just decided that we were going to offer a lot of different curriculum just to get people plugged in now that we're staying at home. And so I think we have 5 groups starting in the next couple of weeks. We have a miscarriage loss book that's co-ed for men and women. We have an after abortion recovery, actually 2 of them starting. We have a sexual trauma class that's starting for women, a codependency class that's starting for women. And our newest book, my only book,
It's so good.
with oh, thank you,
I
Amy.
love it.
Oh, I'm so glad that you love it. So, myself, Lisa Rowe, and Melinda
Mm-hmm.
Means just had a book published called Unraveled Roots, and it has everything to do with what I was talking about in my story, the
Mm-hmm.
root causes of that insecurity and where does that come from, and we operate kind of like blindly through life making decisions and we don't even know why we're making them, and we
Mm-hmm.
can't seem to stop it. We can't seem to interrupt, that unhealthy behavior. So that's what the book is about. So we're doing a group on that as well. And we also are offering 2 groups for men, a codependency and a sexual trauma group for men. 3 groups and an after abortion healing group. So anybody, anywhere can register for our groups. I think this first round is full, and we haven't even advertised it except just
Word
in
of mouth.
different venues like this, but we're going to continue to do them
So great.
as soon as we finish and do them again. So somebody in my group is from California. I'm really excited about that, and so we're just opening it up to the nation, and we're hoping that we can set the stage, be the example for other agencies that provide after abortion healing and restoration to do this as well. To provide virtual groups, and just think about that. Think about that. They have just gone from a reach that's miles from them to a reach that can be across the world, right? By offering a virtual group. So we're super excited about those that are about to launch. And again, our healing network that starts next week. We've never done anything like that before. And again, that's just a way for us to bridge the distances that we can't travel right now. Right. So I get to have all these people from around the country to come on a show with me and talk about what we do and what we love, what we've been called to do. Right. We've all been called to things like this. So, so for more information, go to our website, which I know is going to be on display at the end. Under the resource page is where you can sign up for those virtual groups or buy the book. Yeah, we're super excited.
Thank you. And I saw that the link was posted in the comments, so people can check it out there, or just head over to supportafterabortion.com/virtual support groups.
Yes, and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. If you do it before the end of April, you'll enter a drawing for a prize. And you like us on our social media. We would love that.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
So before we close things out, I wanted to ask each of you if you had any piece of advice or encouragement that you'd like to share with the pro-life movement or women and men who might be facing unexpected pregnancies or have abortion in their past.
I do about just the pro-life movement in general. I just think as the church, and when I say church, it doesn't necessarily mean the building because we are the church, right? But to really ask God, like, what are you passionate about? Like, what makes you pound your fist on the table and say, someone has to do something about this? Because there's a reason that God put that passion inside of you, because that someone probably is you. And so really ask God, what does that look like? And sometimes we overcomplicate it because it's like, do I need to start a nonprofit, or do I no, like, just for now, just do something. If you have a dream of opening a maternity home, well, and you don't have the funds to do it, well, do you have a couch? Do you have an extra seat at your kitchen table? Like, invite someone in, and don't overcomplicate love. Like, just do what you can with the resources that are in your hand right now and the time that you have right now, and then see what doors that God opens up. And if you're great at resume writing, then help a single mom write a resume. If you're great at cooking, then help a single mom teach her how to cook. I mean, we all have something that God placed inside of us that we can do to help change someone's world. And pray and ask God to show you, where does that fit in the pro-life movement? And either by helping set people free through abortion healing, or helping empower single and pregnant or single young moms, and to help equip them practically and spiritually. So there are thousands, unlimited ways of what we can do to get involved in it. We don't have to overcomplicate it. Just love people.
It's a great message.
I would like to encourage those who have not gone through, who have experienced abortion and have not gone through intentional abortion healing or recovery. You have nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God wants to heal your heart so much. Like, He desperately loves you, and you are worth it. You have value. Your choices do not determine your future, unless you stay in that place of brokenness. Like, you get to choose freedom and healing, and God wants to heal you. And if you have gone through healing, don't discount your story because you say, well, I'm just a mom, or I'm just a wife, or I'm just this. Like, we have all these things where we put limitations on us, but God wants to use your healing to set other people free, to help other people be brave in their story. So take away the just and all the what ifs, and just plunge and go for the healing. Like, God wants to use you in so many amazing ways.
And I'm going to piggyback on that just word. I'm going to encourage you to take out the but. So when you're saying, I really want help, but, eliminate that but, pick up the phone, fill out a contact sheet. If you or someone you know has been impacted by an abortion and you know that they're struggling, just start the conversation. Say, listen, I know you're hurting. I'm here for you. I'm not going to judge you. You don't have to live like this. And it's so, like you matter. Right? You matter. You are far too important to spend a lifetime struggling in shame and regret and guilt and anger. God can redeem all of that, and then some, right? And He wants to use you. He doesn't waste our pain. He doesn't waste our tears. He wants to use you. And then you point, because of your redemption, when you're redeemed and fully restored into God, then you're a witness to who God is and what He does, right? So I say, no fear, pick up the phone, tell a friend, and your healing will begin right then and there.
We all need to get our big butts out of the way.
Yes. Let God do His thing.
Yes. I've never seen it fail, y'all. I've never seen it fail.
That's good.
Yes.
Well, thank you for all of that. And thank you to all of our followers for joining us today. Thank you, Karen, Amy, and Jessica, for your amazing and vital work in the pro-life movement. For everyone who'd like to learn more about the amazing work that these ladies and all of their teammates are doing in the pro-life movement, check them out. You can find Support After Abortion at supportafterabortion.com and Embrace Grace at embracegrace.com. They're making it very simple for you. And also follow them on social media. You can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you have more questions, send them in the comments section. You see some amazing people answering questions and just giving messages of love there too.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, ladies, for your time today. And
Thanks, Anne.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anne Claire.
All right. Thank you. And bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.